Watch tape and
Yeah, I was going to say.
do stuff today. What's up?
How was it out there?
It was good. You know, we wanted to move to more different conditions, you know, and I thought, you know, some guys, what these are about, we talked about last night at team meeting, is about getting the other players and the coaches to trust you, to know what you're doing, play with effort. Right, we're all going to make mistakes, but don't make the same mistake over and over again. So, you know, we're over like right at 90 plays with everybody got a chance in there so we can evaluate. This is a real evaluation scrimmage, probably the first big one. And then, you know, we'll start talking about guys, particularly for special teams. We've got a lot of new guys that are going to play critical roles and to get them out in the field and see what they can do.
So how's that trust level after today?
No, it's good. I mean, I got to watch the tape. You guys know that. So, but I thought there's some guys that did some good things, you know, and there's some guys that, you know, you come in the stadium and the coaches are off the field and you're not telling them what to do all the time. They got to think on their own. They get tired. It's a little hot out there, and then it kind of wore down at the end. But we've got to do more of that. Just from a physically tough. I think this team Coach Johnson's done a great job in the summer. I think you guys can see that, but the mental toughness piece and knowing what to do and all the time and not, you know, letting things, outside factors bother you, that's what today was about.
But just overall as a team, are the guys where you thought they'd be at?
Yeah, I think so right now. You know, today was pretty high stress just from a tempo standpoint. Coaches off the field, nobody running behind you and telling you what to do. It's on you. And you know, we've had enough practices for the installation for everybody. I just want to make sure that we got a lot of young players that are going to have to play for us this year. And we've got some new guys, you know, obviously the JUCO guys that are going to have to play for us this year, and just put them in that situation where they have to think and play. And today was really the first big one of those, so I watched the tape.
Who are a couple players who stood out to you out there today?
I don't know. I thought, I thought our D-line was better. You know, we've got to be able to rush the passer, and it's hard to judge with your own team. I thought our O-line was equally up to the challenge. There were some big plays on both sides. You know, we had some receivers make plays. Quarterbacks did a nice job. Obviously, JJ got loose early in the deal, and we got him out quick. We know what he can do. And so we got Bam and some of the younger backs in there today, Tilford and Wiley, to get them some reps because we know what JJ could do. He's proven it. But we've got to develop a core of running backs so that, you know, we can get him off the field some because of his return game and everything else. You know, we don't want him carrying the ball 40 times a game.
It seems like you guys are going in a direction with that three technique with kind of a slightly smaller guy, J.B. Brown or Nahe Salongo. What are the sort of pros and cons of
Well, it depends. We've got a couple different plans. Depending on who we're playing. Right, so you know, from a run standpoint, we've got interchangeable parts. I talked about that early, where JB can be quicker in there against some teams as a three technique. You know, some teams we play against, we're going to need larger guys in there, and so you know, Trayvon is coming along, and we're taking it slow with him to get him in shape. I mean, he just got here, so but he's done some really good things. He's a big guy. I asked him how much he weighed yesterday. And he had a big old plate of macaroni and cheese. I said, "What is that?" And he said, "He's 310." So he's a little bit bigger than what we list. We're not. You guys have seen him. He's not 6'4", 285. He's big. So we're going to get him coming along. We got some other guys that are coming along too in there, and so JB's comfortable in there. And he likes being in there. A lot of guys don't like it there, but he gives us the flexibility to bounce him out to end. The pass rusher and inside, and we want to get our best forward in the field as much as possible.
What have you seen from Kylan Wilborn in this camp? He was someone before you got here, he had a great freshman year, and then he kind of fell off as a sophomore.
Yeah, but I think he was a little nicked up last year, you know, and he's healthy now. He's got, you know, what guys refer to as twitch. I mean, he can get off the ball. He's got great hands. He can rush the passer, and so we're just right now we're rolling all those guys, and what we want to do is get a two deep that can roll in games, unlike last year. And so he is. I think we've got with him and just the two ends. I think we've got some real pass rushers this year. Unlike last year where he was nicked up, and we didn't really have that. But trying to develop those guys and get that group. And so, what will that look like? We got another 21 days to figure that out. But, we want to get a two deep that we can roll on the D-line.
Coach Yates mentioned the other day that both J.B. Brown and Jalen Harris come from football families, and he felt like that helps them in some way. How do you feel like that helps those guys?
It does. It does, because, guys that have played the game at a high level, they know what it looks like. So when we coach them, they're getting the same sound at home. Some guys that they're not from that, they don't get that, and so, they're sometimes those family standards are as high as can be, particularly if you're an NFL guy, right? So, they've been great, and it's like coaches' kids too, right? Like school, it's you grow up, and some of the things that a lot of guys learn on Madden, they learn on Madden and at home, right? So there's a critique both ways, and that all helps.
How would you assess the quarterback so far?
I think they're improved. They're getting better all the time. We got a real battle back there. Khalil has really improved. I think he's going through progressions. I think our walkthroughs have helped him. I think as he's putting the ball down and running it, and I think everybody else has improved. They moved the ball today, made some good decisions. I think we had one interception all day out of those plays. But they're making good decisions and not giving the other team the ball, and that's the first start for the younger players. And then the second piece is the decision-making process and moving the ball, and I thought they made some good decisions today.
Noel said Grant's ahead of the curve. What have you seen out of him?
No, I think he's getting better. He learns every day. We're putting him in some tough positions. We had a bunch of blitzes in the last couple of days from a protection standpoint to kind of heat him up a little bit and see where his feet were. He's a big guy, and so he understands protections now a lot better. He's a freshman, so yeah. But I think he's making steps every day to get better, and every day is a learning process for him with what we're throwing at him offensively. With the installation, he's comfortable with that. But I think the different things that we've done the last 3 days with blitzes and disguises and stuff like that, he needs to see that.
How do you feel about the wide receiver group of plus into camp here?
I think Cedric didn't go today. He a little bit. We know what he can do. He's having a great camp, and Stanley has been really, really solid. Trey Adams is kind of up and down with the young guys. Some days these freshmen are lights out, and then you come back the next day and they're like, what's going on? So that's part of the process. And we've got some bigger guys, some talented guys. Booby's been doing great, but they're young, but they're talented, and we just got to push them along because they're all going to help us. And what we talk about more than anything else, like I said, day one is consistency, which we weren't consistent last year. And with some of these young guys, we got to get them to that level and know what they can do. So we got some time to figure it out. Today was about that.
Is that rotation something that you want to figure out before the season opener, or could it take a few weeks into the season?
It could take a few weeks, but I think obviously we've got some time to figure out, who those 8 to 10 guys are, right? And Trey Adams played and, you know, that redshirt rule really helped us. I've said that. You know, he played probably 60 plays last year in those 4 games that he played in, which is a whole game. So he's got experience. Some of these other guys, you know, they haven't been on the field. And so, you know, some of these young guys have to come along, but I feel good about where they are right now.
How do you see Jamari fitting into that picture?
He's coming along quickly. You know, put him back there. Heck, he's catching punts now. So he's all bought in. He's a bigger guy than you think he is out there, you know, and he's explosive. He's probably one of the top 2-3 athletes on this team. And he's caught balls in the middle. He's the one thing you worry about guys who move out there, you know, we deal with it in traffic. I mean, he's done it. And he's a competitor. It means something to him. He's bought in, and you know, he's I would say this, I think the relationship with him and Khalil in the room last year is helps him a little bit because he likes it.
What about Dixon?
He's coming along good. I mean, he's bigger now. He's more comfortable. Tremendous athlete. You know, he just needs to take another step to be consistent. And, you know, he is part of the group that's like one day you're like, wow, and then the next day, and that's part of growing up. And that's what we just talked about out here about as a team. And, you know, some of our older guys got to help him with some things. And, you know, it was a stress level out there today on purpose. Music was loud, getting warm, guys getting a little bit tired, but having to think and still play. And that's what football is without coaches on the field. And some guys responded to that, some guys didn't. And that's what today was about. And we got, like I said, I got to watch the video, but I thought overall it was positive.
How do you handle that as a coach, those ups and downs with the younger players?
Well, we do. Well, we just talked about it. And I think, you know, our older players have to talk to them. And I had a coach tell me a long time ago, sometimes players know before you do as a coach because they see it all the time. They see off the field, they see on the field, they respect talent, and everybody wants to win. And so, you know, because of that, and our philosophy is just like we just talked about, we want as many players to play as possible through the season. And because that makes us a deeper team that keeps guys fresh, and not because there's a drop-off in talent, but we want those guys to come along and be able to help us in critical situations.
Have any defensive backs really stood out to you over the course of the first week?
They're doing it. Tristan Cooper's been solid. You know, he should be. I mean, he's playing all the time. You know, we got real battles at the corner and safety. I think Scotty Young has really upped his game. I think he's become a leader. He's communicating. He's a much different player, a much different guy than he was when I first got here. And I think he is a real leader back there right now. Just how he handles himself, how he talks to the players, how he talks to everybody else. I've been really pleased with his progress.
One more for Coach?
At this point in camp, would you rather the offense be ahead of the defense, vice versa, or?
No. I mean, everybody's got their druthers, right? So, you know, you'd like early, you know, the defense should be ahead, right? Because it's see ball, go get ball, right? These other guys got to figure out where they're going, who block, you know, blitzing, all this other stuff. So, like I said, with Grant, we're throwing a bunch of things at him, and Khalil, and you know, and Rhett, and everybody, just so our line gets solidified. You know, we got some new guys in that offensive line, but they're talented, and so, you know, everything works together, and you know, we're managing practice with what we're seeing, particularly in the mornings with the walkthroughs and blitzes, so they get to see them and but it's a different tempo between a walkthrough and what just happened out there. And things for younger players were happening quick today, and we'll get them up to speed.